So, Curtis, why don't you start off this conversation? Do you have any memories or anything that come to mind when you think about celebrating your birthday as a kid?
Yeah, I loved birthdays as a kid. I grew up in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and what we used to do is we used to go to the biggest mall in the world. And in this mall, West Edmonton Mall, there was a wave pool with water slides and a water park. They had an actual theme park, almost like Disneyland in a shopping mall. And those were the two places that I would go for my birthdays as a kid. So it was really memorable to go to these water slides and water park facilities in an adventure park to spend time with your friends and have a really good celebration. So those were some awesome fond memories of birthdays growing up.
And when you're talking about the water park, and it's kind of interesting because listening to you say that now, I'm like, Curtis doesn't like water at all. How did this happen? So, anyway, what was your favorite part of the water park when you were there?
Well, that's right. I'm not a very strong swimmer. I'm not a good one, but my favorite part were or was the water slides, and we would go to the these tall water slides that were very steep at the beginning, and then you would race your friend on the other side. So both of the water slides were identical, and then you would skim across the pool at the end. So you would try to get enough speed at the top, get a jump start really, and fly down this water slide and try to skim across the water at the bottom to see if you could skim farther than your friend or reach the end first.
So I guess the other participants in the birthday party, they were the ones that would say who went further and that's who won the race or something?
Yeah, they would hold up the signs, like scorecard signs
Really?
sometimes, like or their hands like 10 or 5, or they would declare which person won. So it
That's
was really,
awesome.
really cool. And what about you, Amy? Do you have any memories that you experienced as a kid?
This was kind of an interesting question. I knew we were going to be talking about this topic, and I realized that I don't remember very many of my birthdays as a kid, probably I don't know, up until 15 years old. But anyway, the ones that I remember are really other people's parties that I went to, and I think they're probably just more interesting than mine were. So I remember that I had one friend that she had a pool, so that was pretty exciting because I didn't have a pool. And we could go over to her place, and her mom would order pizza and play music, and we'd hang out and float in the pool and play. And that was a lot of fun. There was another party that I went to, and I remember, and the mom had prepared goodie bags for all of the kids. So in the goodie bag, they had, some chocolates and candies and maybe a toy or something like that. So it was cool because not only was it fun because I was bringing a gift for my friend, but it was also really nice because I got something at the same time. And yeah, that was really exciting. And usually at these parties, whenever I went, they would have some sort of game or activity. So whether it be hide and go seek, for example, or I remember that there was this one game, Twister, that we used to play. And I don't know if you know what Twister is or if this is an international thing, but it's this white mat that has these colored circles on it. And what you need to do is like you spin this thing. I don't even know what it's called, but you spin it and it has a needle on it and it says whether you have to put your hand or foot or whatever you want on a yellow circle, for example, or a red
Oh yeah.
circle. And you end up having four or five people playing this game, and they need to reach around each other. And of course, you only have two legs and two arms, so it gets increasingly more difficult. And I think the game ends when everybody falls down. So
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
I remember playing things like that when I was a kid and going to parties. And for your party in West Edmonton Mall, did you guys have cake and sing happy birthday?
Yeah, yeah, we were allowed to bring cake, and the staff at the water park, or if we were in the amusement park area, would just ask us or ask my parents when to bring the cake out and when to sing happy birthday, and they would say, "Oh, maybe around, 1 or 2, or when they're done swimming." So the staff was actually really good for handling everything. They were really good about putting the candles on the cake, and getting everybody to sing together, and so yeah, it was all organized really well. So usually that the parents would talk to the staff and arrange that to happen.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, I remember every party definitely having a birthday cake, and somebody would bring it out and they'd have the candles lit, and then everybody in the room would sing happy birthday. And that actually reminds me of a more recent birthday that I had, not too recent. It was when I was in my 20s. But anyway, remember that party that we had at our house when we lived on Molnar Road? And my friend Amber, she was walking up to the house because she had gotten off work and she was just walking over to our place. And
Yeah.
she said that she heard us singing happy birthday from like halfway up the road.
Uh-huh, yeah, because your birthday, is in the summertime, so we'd invite people over to have a backyard barbecue and a bit of a party, quite a bit of a party. Um, that one was, yeah, really loud. I was even DJing, and playing music until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, which,
Yeah.
really shows you how much times have changed, right? From when you're a little kid, you go to these cool places, up until an adult where you have parties with your friends, that go into the wee hours of the morning.
And it makes us sound like we're a bunch of party animals, but really it's like, not every year did we have a big party like that. But I think it's fun every now and then to throw a big party and really to celebrate your birthday. And when you think about it, when you're celebrating your birthday, it's kind of like celebrating your existence, right? And you're celebrating the person. So it's really nice to have a party kind of with that kind of honor. But, what do we do these days when we have a birthday? We're pretty boring, but, you know, as adults in our 30s and 40s, how do we handle birthdays?
Well, usually somebody like your parents or my parents will take us out for lunch or dinner, treat us to our favorite meals. And that's when, like, if we're celebrating in Canada, and now we just, live in Mexico, and you and I will pick a place and go to it. And sometimes the restaurant staff will, if they find out and know it's your birthday, they'll bring you out a dessert and sing happy birthday to you, and things like that. But it's pretty relaxed now. I still get excited because, well, I get excited for the cake. It's my guilty pleasure. I'm an icing gut, my mom used to call me, which means I really like sweet icing that you see on the birthday cakes. So, uh, Amy, for all you listeners out there that don't know, Amy is an excellent baker, an experienced cook. She makes outstanding desserts. So every year I get her to make me a cake, but every year you make your own cake, don't you? For your
Yeah, of
birthday.
course I make my own cake. So, as Curtis said, I'm a very, very good baker. And the thing is that all of the cakes that I could go out and buy are just not nearly as good as one that I can make. So, I want the best for my birthday. And one of the best parts is that I can actually choose what I want. And oftentimes I'll think about some sort of special dessert or something that, I'd really like to have. And this year was the very first time I thought of this, and I don't know why it took me, how old am I now? I don't even remember. I'm getting so old, I don't remember. But anyway, like really, am I 37 or 38? I don't know. For a couple of years I thought I was 36, but I was actually 35. So anyway, needless to say, I don't keep track. But I decided, for this cake, I love peanut butter, and I have this chocolate bar that I love. It's called a Reese's Pieces, and it's peanut butter filling, and it has chocolate on the outside, and it's just my favorite. So I wanted to create a cake that was inspired by that. So I made my favorite chocolate cake recipe, and I put some peanut butter icing in the middle for the middle layer, and then I covered it with icing on the top. And then to finish it, I cut up a bunch of Reese's Pieces peanut butter cups and I sprinkled them on the top of the cake. And how did that work out, Curtis?
So amazing. Actually, my mouth just actually started to water thinking about it. That was in June, but my birthday's coming up next month in September.
The
Yeah,
requests are open for the flavor. I know one of Curtis's favorite cakes is a Black Forest cake, but I have a really hard time making that one because you have to have whipped cream on the outside. And because where we live is extremely warm, it is really hard to make whipped cream
it
here.
just turns
So
into this puddle of cream soup.
it just doesn't whip. Like it's just cream. But anyway, I think that's really what celebrating birthdays is about. It's, eating good food. Calories don't count for that day. We get
Mhm.
to go to a favorite restaurant, spend time with some friends or some family, and, then
Make the best of it.
on with the rest of our lives until the next year.
Exactly.